Hello viewers, I am Kausalya. Today we are going to solve problem 22 in exercise 15.1 probability. So it comprises two questions. We start with first part. Two dice, one blue and one grey are thrown at the same time. Complete the following table. So here we have two dice, one is blue and another one is grey, and they both are thrown at the same time. So now we have to complete this table. So what is given in the table here? You see, one is event and another one is probability. So event is sum on two dice. That is, we are throwing two dice, right? And now we are going to add the values shown by the two dice. So here, for example, if one dice shows 2 and the another dice shows 3, what is the sum? Here 2 plus 3 will be 5. Likewise, here the sum values are given. Now, we are asked to find the probability. Am I making clear? Yes. So, the first one is, we have to list out how many possible outcomes are there. So, since we are tossing two dice, if it is a single die, how many outcomes? We will be having 6 because the number starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will be having 6 numbers and dice has 6 faces. So, if two dice are thrown, then what about the options? The number of possible outcomes on throwing two dice is 36. So, I believe you people know because we had previously solved this type of problems. So, what are all the possible outcomes? You see, these are all the possible outcomes. That is 1, 1. Okay. In each die, that is blue die may show 1 and grey die may show 1. Similarly, 3, 4. Blue die may show 3 and this grey die may show 4. So, likewise, the possible outcomes are 36 in numbers. It starts from 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3 and it goes on and finally we end up with 6, 6. So it is mandatory to know what are all the possible outcomes when two dice are thrown because it is very important to find the solution, right? So first we start with, you see, some answers are given. That is, sum on two dice is 2. Here the probability is given as 1 by 36. Shall we check whether it is true? So again look at the possible outcomes. So when you add two numbers, you should get the answer as 2. So here 1 plus 1 will give you 2 and when you add the rest, the number will be greater than 2. So here the number of possible outcome is only 1 and the total outcomes are 36. So what will be the probability? It is 1 by 36. So here it is given correctly. So 1 by 36. Now we are going to proceed for 3, 4 and finally we are going to fill this entire table. So first, let event be the event that sum of two dice is 3. When you add two numbers, the answer should be 3 here. So again you start here. When you add 1 plus 2, then it is 3. And again 2 plus 1 gives you 3. But the rest of the numbers, when you add, it gives greater number. So 1 plus 3 gives you 4. And 2 plus 2 makes 4. And again 2 plus 3 is 5. So here how many possible outcomes do we have? We have 1, 2 and 2, 1. So therefore E1 is 1, 2 and 2, 1. So number of outcomes favorable to E1 is, how many outcomes do we have? We have 2 outcomes, 1 and 2. So here it is 2. So probability of E1 is number of outcomes favorable to E1 divided by total possible outcomes. And so here it is 2 by 36. You see here in the table for all the numbers we have denominator as 36. So just keep it as 36. Don't cancel it out. Right, if you cancel by 2, we will be getting a simple number, but don't do that. Let it be 2 by 36. Let E2 be the event of sum of two dice is 4. So again, we have to look back at the possible outcome. So when you add two numbers, you should get 4. So here again you look, 1 plus 3 gives you 4 and 2, 2 gives you 4 and 3, 1 gives you 4. That's it. So totally 3 outcomes. So number of outcomes favorable to E2 divided by total possible outcomes. So here these are all the favorable outcomes. So when you count, we have 1, 2, 3. 3 numbers. So here it is 3 by 36. Now the next thing is let E3 be the event of sum of two dice is 5. So again we have to look back at the possible outcomes here. So here 5. So 1 comma 4, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 2 and 4 comma 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 outcomes. So here we have 1 comma 4, 2 comma 3, 3 comma 2 and 4 comma 1. So totally 4. So the probability ratio is 4 by 36. So number of outcomes favorable to E3 divided by total possible outcomes. Right. Now the next thing is let E4 be the event of sum of two dice is 6. So again we have to go back at the number of possible outcomes and we have to proceed. So here 6. Okay. We have to, when you add two numbers we have to get 6. So 1 comma 5, 2 comma 4, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 2 and 5 comma 1. So totally 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, we have 5 outputs. So just list out the possible outputs. So here the number of outputs is 5. So number of outcomes favorable to E4 divided by total possible outcomes. So here it is 5 by 36. The next one is sum of two dice is 7. So here let E5 be the event of sum of two dice is 7. So again we have to look back. So when you add two numbers, you should get 7. So here 1 comma 6, 2 comma 5, 3 comma 4, 4 comma 3, 5 comma 2 and 6 comma 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Totally 6 outcomes. So here we have 6 outcomes. Therefore the probability is given by 6 by 36. The next one is sum of two dice is 9. So let E6 be the event of sum of two dice is 9. So here again we have to look back at the possible outcomes and we have to check. So here you see 2 plus 6 gives you 8. But what we need, we want 9. So we go here. So 3 comma 6, 4 comma 5, 5 comma 4 and 6 comma 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So totally 4 outputs. So here the probability is number of outcomes favorable to E6 divided by total possible outcomes. You just list out all the things, right? So when you count, they are totally 4. So 4 by 36 is the probability. Now the next thing is event or sum of two dice is 10. So again when you look back, so here you see 4 comma 6, 5 comma 5 and 6 comma 4. So totally 1, 2, 3. 3 possible outcomes. So here 4 comma 6, 5 comma 5 and 6 comma 4 are the favorable outcomes. So totally they are 3. So probability is number of outcomes favorable to E7 divided by total possible outcomes. So here it is 3 by 36. Now the last thing is sum of two dice is 11. Let the event be E8. So again when you look back, so here when you count, you should get the number 11. So 5 plus 6 gives you 11 and again 6 plus 5 gives 11. So totally there are 2 outcomes. So here you see 2 by 36 is the probability ratio. So here now we had finally completed this tabulation, right? You see we had started from 2 and we had ended with the 12. Now the second part of the question is a student agrees that there are 11 possible outcomes starting from 2 to 12. Therefore, each of them has a probability 1 by 11. Do you agree with this argument? Justify your answer. So here you see a student tells that there are 11 possible outcomes. Yes, because we have 11 numbers starting from 2 to 12. Now, each of them has a probability 1 by 11. Here, all these numbers, the student says that all these numbers have the same probability, that is the value is 1 by 11. Is it true? Because you see here we have different values of probabilities. Not all the probability value is same. It is totally different. So here, do you agree with this statement? No. Okay. because we have different values of probability ratio. So why? Because if all these columns have the same values, then it is said to be a likely event. So here the reason is the 11 outcomes are not equally likely because we have different values as the probability ratio. Therefore, this statement is wrong because all these events are different events. So that is what said here, the 11 outcomes are not equally likely. So that's all. If you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Thank you.